beyond what I've gone. So, yeah, you make a great impact, especially with your children and those youth that are looking up to you.
I'll share another story. Just back in June, we had the first graduation that was part of like actually being on stage and giving, handing out diplomas to students.
Hmm.
So like as being like as a Muslim person, I was on stage. So we had a lot of our schools is very diverse. Our schools here in the city,
Hmm.
and as I'm shaking hands with the kids, I know sometimes just the Islamic greeting, Assalamu alaikum. You can see the bright faces of those kids.
Yep.
Like somebody like give them a different greeting and say hello and just in English,
Right, because you
different
see them.
language.
That's like affirming.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So that was like another just good feeling moment for me.
Right.
Right.
You become a living testament, and you also become a almost like a step ladder for them because they, whoa, in the flesh, he did it. I can do it. It makes it possible for them to really now to believe. You encourage, you
Absolutely.
inspire. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had the privilege of assemblymen coming here. We've had the privilege of talking to other people who are on their path to election. And I think for me, like when I met you and we talked about your service on the school board, and I was just for such a short time, I was so excited because I think that so many people really underestimate the connections that people and cities in our region have. And like I am so proud of Erie, Pennsylvania. Like I was so excited to hear about everything that you were doing in your school. I was there recently for a conference. I visited Gannon University when I was presenting some of our food work that we do with our neighbors here at Buffalo State. And I had the privilege of going to a nonprofit that's like I don't know the name of it, but it's like in a school building. But it's like the school building is converted for the nonprofit. And I walked in and there were flags from all different places. And that was also the place I think the Hispanic League of Erie was founded. So excited to talk with you
Yeah.
about the legacy of
We
leaders.
got the multicultural center.
Yeah, that's where I was. Shout out to them.
MCRC, yeah, and
Yeah.
those like that's like one of the centers I went to when I first came here as an
Really?
immigrant. Like after school program and help you with things like it's just so much things that's happened in the area. It just for me it's like it's just a privilege to give back to so many people. Because
Yeah.
that's what actually motivates me. Like to doing more for the community and just building a relationship. Just I was God put me in the right place to meet you in San Jose.
We were in California at the buffet line. I'm always eating. I was literally going to say that I need to go on a restaurant tour of Erie, but I did not want to distract from that fact. I literally came up to you with like a full plate and just was like, are you from, because I saw your tags at Erie, PA.
Yeah. You guys are really close to us, and we go to Buffalo a lot.
Yeah, so I'm really proud. Let's talk about your experience in your home country and like how that informs your leadership or your understanding of the privilege and the infrastructure of public education here.
Absolutely. I came here when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
In '96, and often even people underlook public education here in the U.S. And I just look back where I came from. Like people don't even get opportunity to even get a public education. Let alone like having an option to go to public schools. So like to me that was a privilege just to go to school and the mindset like people look down on public school because often we're underfunded. That's one of the things like state schools like in the city it's been underfunded and that's one of the struggles that we have. But at the same time, to me, I know where I came from. I need to do better to make my parents proud and just to have an opportunity to go to school. That motivated me more and more to just focus on my education and get finish high school, get my degree. So I always
And then you went to Penn State, right?
absolutely.
Okay, shout out to Penn State.
Yes, absolutely. We're many lines. So I mean, even I was the first person. I was the first one in my family to graduate from college. So so and that was and after that, like then I have a younger brother who also graduated from Mercer's University, which is in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Which is an amazing school. Shout out to Mercyhurst and their Office of Civic and Community. I don't know what the name of the office is, but they're doing big things. Very service oriented folks. You know what I was going to ask? We have a young person on the line. Did you want to chime in, sir, about how you feel schools are kind of understood? Were you a public school student? Okay, well, how do you feel as a public school student? Are you proud listening to our board member? I should call you that, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Say. Yeah, I just feel like schools are like very like I like how people like go out their way to fund the school like with like also like my school personally I went to a performing arts school
Awesome.
and there's this lady, her name is Miss Jones. I don't know if she's still there, but she just used to do a whole bunch of community work, and she was so nice to the kids and stuff. And I feel like that's good for public school because they don't get a lot, they don't get funded a lot. So it's good to have like board student and staff that actually like continuously like help the kids and stuff in school. Say, tell
Yeah.
them what grade you in. I'm in 11th.
Let's go. You're going to be a senior. Yay! Thank you for giving us your perspective there. Go ahead.
Thank you. I didn't get his name, but absolutely, often, those teachers that go out their way, they don't get credit because, I personally feel like they don't get paid enough. And there's so many people doing wonderful work. Often, all you hear is like the negative part. Like,
Yeah.
When I was appointed, like, I made a commitment. I visited all our schools, talk to some staff, administrators, just to see what's going on, how I can be a better advocate, a better leader to, when it comes to doing to advocating on the state level when it comes to the funding, and just to announce, like, just like a few days ago, Pennsylvania just passed the budget. Our legislators always take forever to pass the budget. They finally passed the budget, and our schools are now finally getting about 13% increase in funding.
Let's go to them. Let's go PA, because there's a lot of Puerto Ricans there too. Allentown, some of those places. My community is heavy, so I appreciate what you're doing for all of us.
Lancaster, yeah, it's huge, huge. I mean, when I went to Penn State,
Lo boricua, tú sabes.
So I mean, what the young man just mentioned, like, it is those things that often the public schools don't get credit, and all the wonderful things that are happening. Like here, we have a tech program. We have kids that can, before they even graduate, can get a job in like welding, auto body.
Very good.
So we have like 5 different programs. We're just giving kids the opportunity and the pathways. Nowadays, like, there's different ways to get your conventional education. It doesn't have to be a 2 or 4 year college. It can be a technical program, because sometimes kids who graduate, I should say young adults.
Yeah, or it could be both. My dad went to a tech school for high school, and then he came to Buffalo State. So, I think the legacy of heavy industry that we both have in our regions is beautiful. I'm so excited to see educators innovate around it and kind of bring energy and homage back to folks who, in some of those industries, especially where you are in context to steel and steel production, were top innovating for the world with some of the technology that was coming out of the places historically. So I think that what you're doing is amazing. Can I ask you another question?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that one of the things I think about is when you were in school, kind of like how you defined your identity. So when you came to Erie, and I know that I was reading some about your parents, obviously respectfully, they must be amazing people and acknowledging their commitment to like education. But like, did you live in public housing when you came to Erie as a child, or how is that kind of part of your legacy or your advocacy?
Absolutely. One thing my parents always made us feel like, even though, when I look at the numbers, like we live in poverty, but my parents never made us feel that way because, we got everything we wanted.
Right.
So I lived, to be honest, until I moved out, until I bought my first house about 12 years ago. My parents we lived in a public housing.
That's amazing. That's where I do a lot of my food work, and my grandma's from public housing, and I lived in public housing, so that was something I thought was really cool.
A lot of, I give a lot of kudos to our, it's called Hayes, Housing Authority of Erie. Like, I give them a lot of kudos because they, not just that I live in the housing authority, but like as I got, in my high school career, they have a pathway program where, as long as you stay in college, they provide you with a summer job. But it's not called a summer job. It's called a mentorship because you're mentoring other young youth, so they can have that pathway too. So, and I'm still connected to the housing authority. of Erie. Like I'm really close friends with the CEO there, their operation manager, because often people think like just because people are in public housing, but sometimes because the lack of here lack of not just jobs but people not making enough. So you need that option, but also a livable space. And I feel nothing against other states. I feel like we have the best public housing.
Yeah, I was going to be like, take it easy. But you know what I was going to say? There is a strong connection, and you're a demonstration of it, between people who live in public housing and civic engagement. There are generations, thousands of people who, like my grandma, who lived in public housing when she went to go march with Martin Luther King, and they have a march coming up in honor of that. Like, that was part of their identity, right? It gave them the foundation to say, I can participate in democracy as American. And I'm just so proud of the way that you demonstrate the connection between those two things. Like, I thought that was really cool that I saw that in your bio.
Yeah, and the whole thing is for me, I know to live in a public housing, we might be constricted with financially, but it gave me an opportunity to see that's the life, that's the option we have. But now as a family man, I'm grateful for all that, and it put me in a position to grow myself, as being a homeowner, even owning my first investment property as well too.
Oh, that's huge. I remember when I told my grandma I bought my first home, and she had, the first time she had a bed was when she moved into public housing, because she had 7 kids. And in Puerto Rico, they had like a 1-room, agrarian kind of like house. So I was going to say kind of 2 things. And then I wanted to close because I know we're going to try to push to 10:40, but per the usual, I was like forming 1,000 questions. So one of the questions that I have for you just really quickly is like, when you think about, okay, it's a compounded question, so it's actually 2 questions. One would be, what advice would you have for young people who want to get involved in local civic and community engagement, whether that's service or, stepping forward when they're ready to run for election? And then what do you hope the impact of your legacy in public service will bring, not only to your community, but just like to the larger communities that we're both part of?
Absolutely. So for the first one, I encourage every youth to get involved in some way, somehow, something that you're passionate about. Don't feel like you're forced to, because your opinion. Like often people say I talk to youth here and they feel like their voice doesn't matter. It does matter. So I try to push for even the youth who are turning 18 to vote, because that's their first right, to make an impact of things that they see. So get involved, things that you like, get involved in your community, because once you do that, it will open so many doors, build a relationship. You never know who you'll meet, in different places, in the world. But I think our youth have to get involved in a lot of things that they like. It doesn't have to be, it could be even through sports, just volunteer.
Absolutely, that's policy for sure. Recreation is policy.
At your faith-based organization,
Absolutely.
Even at your school, if you're going to tutor lower classmen, upperclassmen, those kinds of things, I really encourage, and also, at these public hearings, at these city council, school boards, I encourage youth to come out and speak out. They allow, there's no age.
And they can come and just listen too, right? Like, because I feel like sometimes when people feel like they go to those places, like they're forced to participate, but being there and just being seen counts, I feel like.
Absolutely, because often there's not many people show up, so just showing up, and even if you have a concern, even reach out to your local representatives, school board members, if you have any questions, So I think I would encourage that. And then as far as my legacy, I wouldn't necessarily say a legacy, but what I hope to achieve is that we have representations amongst every community represented in these different leadership positions, because often people, we always say representation matters, but if it really matters, we should see the shades of different colors of people there represented, to have a voice on behalf of their people. So for me, I hope that that people will see that I'm open and honest, transparent, to get information out, to be held accountable. That also the next generation to come, that there's a pathway for them as well, to in anything that they want to do, that it is possible.
You are very good at being interviewed and very inspiring. I'm super excited to have talked with you. And I think that this is an obvious question that I have to ask, Willie. I feel like I have to ask this question. Are there other kind of levels of service that you're looking toward? Where can everybody follow you? Because I think that you're a really exciting leader. And again, we're, one community. And I just really want our students here, especially those who are attending new student orientation today and others, like to be able to know where they can continue to see you lead so authentically, because I really appreciate the way that you've shown up and the way that you've shared parts of your leadership journey with us today.
Absolutely. Right on my Facebook page, Zakaria Sharif, I have 2 pages. Zakaria Sharif is my personal page, and then Zakaria Sharif for school board. That's my open platform. That my number is on there. Like I said, I'm easy to get access to. If you can message me any question, it doesn't matter if you live in a different state. Anything that I can help with, I'm here. And just not to put a plug, I am on the ballot for November 7th.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you calling in. And, I just want to acknowledge all that you're bringing in terms of diversity and the privilege that we have to have so many people from so many different places, especially different walks of faith. We've been doing a lot of deliberate community building here, and we do have now halal food options in our cafeteria, and we have a Muslim Student Association. I think it's our privilege as Americans to really make space in our schools for conversations for people from all spaces. So I'm really proud of you as a public housing advocate and as a public school kid. Like, you really showed up amazingly for your community, and I'm glad to have brought you here so you can get more exposure in Buffalo and people can know about your journey and how to invest in you. So thank you so much for joining us, and I will definitely make sure to bring you back and or share like parts of the interview that impacted me, because there's a lot that you said that I know I'm going to sit with today. And I'm just really, really proud of your parents and from the community that you come from, because I think you really have represented them beautifully today.
Hey, Zachariah, I want to give you kudos too, being a young man. And I know you have the support, you build relationships, and that's where you at. A lot of people seem to take riches as money. No, riches are building good relationships. The more relationships you build, the better you. Those are where your riches at, because and you active, you participate, you share. That's where your riches are, making a difference in your community and building those relationships.
Absolutely, I appreciate you, 91.3 WBNY.
All right.
I really appreciate you guys for having me, and I just hope that we continue these dialogues of engagement. That we inspire and motivate our next generational leaders here.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being your part.
Thank you. You have a nice day.
Absolutely.
Tina?